I am now live. Leaving a moment. And we're a go. Awesome. Hello, everyone. We're picking up again with some Monster Hunter Double Cross. You can think of this as a little bit of a WTF is for any of you Total Biscuit fans out there. Monster Hunter is a game about, as the name would imply, hunting monsters. It's a skill-based game, so like you repeatedly kill the monsters to get better armor, better weapons, but what you're really taking with you. Mic up. How's that? Much better? A little bit down. All right. We're gonna fix the mic here. Hang on. How's that? Perfect? All right. So yeah, what you take with you in this game, between like all of the hunts and everything, is your knowledge of the monsters, your knowledge of how to use your weapon, your knowledge of what to bring with you. This is a game of preparation. I have likened it to Dark Souls before. It is similar in some ways, very, very different in others. If you are a Dark Souls fan, I recommend you check the game out. Don't expect like a Born or something else like that, but it shares a lot in common. So we're going to start out here with my Blade Master character. I'm running Sword and Shield, and I'm going to go through like a mid-ish game hunt. And just talk about like the general systems, the way the game works, what you look for, and how to approach the game. The game has a lot of different weapons. You can be a ranged character with light bowgun, heavy bowgun, and bow. You can be a blade master with sword and shield, insect glaive, great sword, dual blades, lance, gun lance, and there's many more. There's a lot of choices. So let's get this started. Let's get going here. Some of you may have heard that there is a new game in this series coming out. There is indeed. Monster Hunter World comes out in January on PS4 and Xbox One. It comes out later on PC. This is the predecessor. This just came out on Switch in August. This is actually just an upgraded version of the 3DS game. So if you want to check this out before January, then you can check it out on 3DS. You can also import it from Japan if you want to play the version that I'm playing. Unless if you played a lot of this game, I don't recommend doing that. So what am I doing right here? In lower rank hunts, which this one is, you start out with some supplies. Supplies in this game are anything you would need for the hunt, so that can be, in this case, health potions, sharpening stones, cleansing agents. The monster I'm going to be fighting can apply debuffs that will explode you, basically. So where do we start with? Let's start with the basic control scheme of the game. You have two attack buttons. You have your sort of quick attack, which is the X button in this game. You have your alternate attack, which is the A button, and you can also combine the two buttons for other attacks. And what those attacks do really depends entirely upon the weapon that you've chosen. In this case, I've chosen Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield has a few advantages. One, it is the only weapon in the game that can use items without sheathing first. So while I'm in this area, before I get the monster, let's go through a little demo. So press X to unsheath, right? So there's my basic attack, right? And I can do a simple slash, and then to A, this is another. That's our basic Sword and Shield combo. What's available to you, again, depends on your weapon. So as a Sword and Shield user, I am able to go in and just be like, all right, I want to use an item with my weapon out. Great, I can do that. Every other weapon has to sheath, and sheathing is just like that, and now you're away. The differences are when you are sheathed, you can run, you can sprint at a faster speed. You also can do a slightly extended dodge. You can't do that while your weapon is extended. So here's our guy, Teostra. Let's get out of the way so that you can actually see him. This is one of the wyverns. The enemies in this aren't dragons, technically. They're wyverns. He's kind of the Chimera wyvern. There are also dinosaurs, yes. Someone just pointed out. Oop, I'm gonna get away from that. His whole deal is he causes a lot of explosions. And let's see. So what are my goals here? As when you are fighting monsters, what part of them you hit deal different amounts of damage. So I'm aiming for head strikes here in order to do the most damage and also get the best rewards. One thing you try to do in this game is damage and break different parts of the monster. So if you break their head, you might get an extra drop at the end of the hunt. If you do a dinosaur walking into the room. He's about to go on camera.
Am I in shot?
You are in shot. Welcome, yeah, dinosaur.
You should maybe go back.
Move to the... Which side? There you go. And remember, all of this is for charity, so get those donations in as the dinosaur behind us is asking. You can't deny a dinosaur, right? Oh, I couldn't actually read what it was holding. Alright, now that the visit from the dinosaur is over, back to this. So, and if you have any questions about this, feel free to post them in chat. I've got the chat up so I can read what you're asking. Keep going on with, so my goal in this, I'm actually looking for a particular part from this guy. So I want to break, not his head, though I'm hitting his head to do the most damage. I actually want to break his wings. That's tricky to do on this guy, especially with the weapon type that I'm running. Blade Master weapons, like Sword and Shield, don't tend to have great verticality, unless if you're running the aerial style. I'm not going to get too much into hunter styles. There are four, but suffice to say, there are between 4 and 6 different styles in the game that you can choose. 4 if you're playing Generations, 6 if you're playing this game. And one of them is a style that's meant to make it a lot easier to like jump on monsters. I'm not running that style. I'm running a style that gives me extra unique attacks. Hunter Arts, which you just saw me use there, that Ryu style Shoryuken that I just did was one of my Hunter Arts. Yeah, so what we got... oh, I'm about to get hit because... Okay, I blocked. So the other thing, some weapons, any weapon that has a shield, like Sword and Shield, the Gun Lance has the same thing, you can guard. Some weapons have better guard, some weapons have worse guard. Sword and Shield has like okay-ish guard. It takes more stamina for me to guard than it would, say, a Gun Lance, but I at least have the option. Barbara just hit her $500 goal. Way to go, Barbara. Get that money for those kids. All right. So let's walk through like sort of what the general progression on this game is. Like you're just starting out. So let's say you know the Monster Hunter World is coming out and you're like, this looks cool. I have a PC. I haven't had it on console. It's only been on, this game has only been on Nintendo systems for quite a number of years. So it's finally returning to PlayStation, which was where it started. So yeah, you're wanting to start out and you're like, well, okay, what the hell do I do? Well, what do I need to know? Well, first you need to pick your preferred weapon style. I'm giving you a demo here of Sword and Shield, which I like. you can pick any other one. There are some resources that I will post later, as soon as this guy stops beating the tar out of me. And then you sort of want to figure out what is it that I need to get to make my weapon more effective, and that's where the armors come in. Armors give you, obviously, armor, so you get defense from that, important, you stay alive. You also get special skills. So this armor set that I'm wearing gives me bonus attack damage. It also gives me resistance to monster roars. So you've seen this guy has been roaring at me. Normally that would stun me and sort of knock me into an animation where I'd be stuck for a little bit. Since I have what's called in the game HG earplugs, I'm immune to that. And what you do is sort of just figure out from there what it is that you want for your armor set. Alright. And what armor you use, the reason you have to pick your weapon first is there are different armors for Blade Master than there are for Gunner. And the hunt is over. So what was I saying? Blade Master versus Gunner armors. If you are using a Blade Master weapon, you cannot equip Gunner armor, and vice versa. So you want to pick your weapon first. When the hunt ends, which is what we're in right now, you get a minute to carve what you can from the monster. This gives you monster parts that you use to make new weapons, new armor, those sorts of things. And then you just get to sort of celebrate, enjoy your victory. Unofficial rule, you gotta strike a pose. So go over here, we're gonna do the celebration. So now I've shown you like what a hunt looks like, and that was, my gear was probably higher the level than that hunt. So that's why it was kind of a bit easier than it normally is. I was gonna do something like pick a brand new weapon and go through sort of some early game progression. I may still do that, but for now, let's look at some of the multiplayer, and you'll be able to see like what some of the other hunters are using, see how their weapons work. The game has two modes, single player and multiplayer. In Monster Hunter World, that is no longer the case. Monster Hunter World merges them, so it's all the same hunt, and it has drop-in, drop-out multiplayer. So if your first Monster Hunter game is going to be World, then just play online, and hunters will come and join you. They'll leave, they'll come back, you can join other ones. It's a one seamless experience. In this game, it is separated. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and find a room. Let's see, what do we want here? We want some G3 hunts, right? So this is nearing endgame. All right, so let's search for some rooms that have G3 hunts going on. Cool. There's a couple G3 folks. They're going for anything. All right, let's join them. Oh, just checking the chat while this loads. So a bit of history on where I stand with this game. I started playing with, I actually started with Monster Hunter Tri on Wii, and I hated the game. Hated it. I was like, this is terrible. It's all the worst aspects of grindy MMOs with like silly combat mechanics, and like, why am I not able to, guard any of these attacks? Why are the dodge timings so weird? And I ended up trading it back in and swore off the series. And then some friends were like, yo, you got a 3DS, you should play Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate with us on 3DS. And I was like, I don't know. I hated Monster Hunter, and they were like, you know, we'll show you how this game actually is played, like what it's actually about. I was like, okay. And that was when I started to realize that what the game is actually about is your knowledge of the monster and what you need to bring along with it. So while the people join here, let's talk a little bit about that. The hunt that I've posted to the board is Rathalos. Rathalos is a wyvern. He can poison you with his tail, and he can fly around, and he does a number of flying different attacks. So we want some anti-flying measures. I mentioned earlier about how Blade Master weapons don't have good verticality. So it's difficult when something is flying for me to do anything. If I were a gunner, that wouldn't be an issue. You can just aim up and hit them. So we have an answer to that. We're going to bring flash bombs and also some of the materials. We're also going to bring some of the materials for a flash bomb. In fact, I'm going to just... Yeah, perfect. Put my Dread King set. So let's look in here. Flash bombs. Very important for Blade Masters. Any creature, if you throw a flash bomb while it's facing the bomb explosion, it gets stunned. And that's doubly important for flying creatures like wyverns, because it will knock them to the ground as well, and then they won't take off again for a little while. So we're going to bring some stuff to handle that facet of this. Our friend here is using a greatsword, and our second friend is using Prowler. Prowler is a weapon that is going away in Monster Hunter World. It's actually your ability to play as one of Apella Codes, which are the little cats that you see in the game.
Oh my god!
It's a fun weapon. It's I'm not too sad that it's going away. It was never my favorite. All right. What are we gonna do here? We're gonna buff our attack. We're gonna buff our defense. Yeah, thank you. All right. This is for marking. All right, so now we need to find the monster. He's probably in area 8, which is up top. Right, so the preparation aspect. Like I said, I've brought what I need to be able to handle Rathalos. So hopefully I'm going to show you in just a minute, like, you know, as a Blade Master, knowing what I need against Rathalos, bringing that along and saying, okay, now I have a way to get you on the ground and hopefully keep you there. And then I can actually start to deal some damage. And that's going to be what the flash bombs are for. There he is. Go over to the flash bombs. Alright, so that's what I mean, right? He's flying. He'll usually do an attack and then land, like that. So he's not quite so difficult, and it isn't 100% necessary to have flash bombs, but we're going to flash him anyways. I shouldn't have been standing there. That was bad. Oh, so our friend there got a mount. When you hit a monster and it's in the air, and you're in the air, you deal mounting damage to it. And it's kind of like a debuff like poison is. And if you deal enough damage, then you down the monster like that. Now, we just get a chance to beat on it for a little bit. Oops. Still trying to learn the dodge timing for some of these attacks. So you've seen a couple of the different kind of things that can go on in these fights. You little stupid dinosaur. If you deal enough damage to legs, you will also knock a monster down, which is part of what I'm going for here. Yes, they are. Yeah, is that enough room? All right. So that's the roar that I was talking about earlier. If I didn't have the earplugs on my armor, I would have been stunned during that. Ah, tail cut. I was wondering if we were going to get that. So any monster that has a tail, the tail can usually be cut off. That's a good thing because you get to carve from the tail and you get bonus resources. You also usually unlock better rewards for the end of the hunt. So the fact that we got the tail cut is excellent. Oops. I'm just resizing so that I can see the chat. There we go. All right. This guy is almost dead. Some of you may be wondering, why are there all the loading screens? This is probably one of the biggest criticisms against Monster Hunter, and it's well deserved. The loading screens are left over from when the series originated on PS2, and to some extent 3DS and whatnot. You know, the systems can't keep the entire app in memory, so they separate around. People asked when they brought it to 3DS and Switch and even Wii U, and they're like, why didn't you get rid of this? The answer from Capcom was they would have had to redo the monster AI in order to account for that, so they didn't want to do for those games. But that is all gone for Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is one seamless environment. There's no loading screens once you're into the hunt. So for those of you who hate loading screens, I'm not a fan of them myself. Monster Hunter World is definitely capturing that facet. Could have gotten some aerial damage on him there, but oh well, that's fine. It's gone. But he's probably flying up to 8. Yep, he's flying up here. We might not get to see him limping. When a monster is near death, it will start to limp. That's also a visual cue about whether or not you can capture the monster. Oh no, he's hungry. Monster has to be limping for you to be able to capture it. And some hunts will specifically say you need to capture the monster, not kill it. So you need to be aware of what it is that the hunt requires you to do. Ah. Yeah, so this hunt is for up to 4 players. Alright. You may have noticed in there some of my attacks are starting to bounce. That's because my sharpness... Oh, I don't need to sharpen. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, which you can see, there's a little blade indicator. That's the sharpness of my weapon. It goes from the highest is purple in this game down to red. Red is like you just can't hit anything. The sharper your weapon, the more damage it does, and the less it will bounce off of monsters. And that matters because some of the monsters in this game are like giant rock monsters, and they're really tough to get through. You need a high sharpness weapon. Greatsword, if you decide to pick up Greatsword as your weapon, you can send your allies flying, which can be useful because they can then do an aerial attack like I just did there, but it'll also interrupt a lot of their attacks. So if I were trying to hit the monster here, it wouldn't be very cool of him to send me flying like that. So if you're a Greatsword user, you need to be aware of how to play with other people, particularly in Monster Hunter World, where there's no difference between the multiplayer and the single player. In single player, it doesn't matter for this game because you're the only user there. I'm gonna eat a food buff here. You get to eat 1 meal per hunt. It'll give you bonus damage, bonus defense. I usually take the defense just because, you know, if you're not really intimately familiar with all the monsters, like I'm not quite yet. It takes a lot of playing this game to really know what to do. Then, you know, being able to take an extra hit is nice. You guys gonna post? So for this game, it's usually a common courtesy if people help you with a hunt, then you help them with a hunt. So I posted the last monster, and I'm going to let one of my friends, if they want to post a hunt. First, and right now I'm going to send a guild card. Yeah. Don't even bother asking about what those are. Okay, someone did post. What are we fighting? Astalos. Alright. Astalos is also a flying monster, but he doesn't tend to stay airborne very much. Let's see. What do I want to bring? I want to bring... I'm going to do normal hunt, and I am going to bring a few flashpoints. So Koron here is a very, very high level sword and shield user like me. The sword and shield she's using, I actually recognize it's from one of the near end game hunts. Quite powerful. Adjust my camera here a tiny bit. There we go. There. Astalos is an electrical wyvern. You missed, bug. So the things with Astalos, what do I need to watch out for here? Astalos has a forked tail, and you can use it to try and scissor you. It'll also plant it in the ground and then, like, explode a bunch of electricity. Also bad. Want to avoid that. Apply an oil. Oils. Okay, so new in this game, and I believe returning in Monster Hunter World, is Sword and Shield can apply oils to their weapon, even though I have an axe. It's still a Sword and Shield. And the oils give you temporary buffs. They last about 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. The one I applied just now gives me extra affinity, which is extra critical chance. Alright. So there was the... Getting this head broken. Oh shoot, I missed that I was near the edge. Alright. I'm gonna try and get some aerial damage on here so that we can mount. There we go. The mount is this little mini game. I have to fill that blue bar, and once I fill the blue bar, I'll knock the monster to the ground, like you saw my ally do in the last hunt. Oh! That hurt. Alright, we haven't gotten a tail cut yet. Alright. Hitting the tail would be pretty good here. Oh, if that flash bomb had hit, that would have been so sick. This is one of the new maps in the game. I'm not quite used to where the edges are. Like, it looks like it would be a lot further before you go into a new area. Oh man, this guy is well and truly dead. Yeah, so he's limping now. You can see that. Alright. collect some of these shiny drops. Shiny drops are special drops from monsters that happen if you like hit a part, generally their head, a lot. Usually they're things like actual tears, so these are probably Wyvern tears that are dropping. You hit it so hard you made it cry. Feel kind of bad sometimes about that, you know, like this monster, it's just sitting here, you know, hunting some food, and we come up and are like, I'm just gonna pound your face and make you cry. And then you remember that it's a video game. There we go. Oh, thanks, Madros. And I think someone donated just before that, and I didn't see it. Leaf, thanks for the donation. Oh. All right. Well, here are all your notifications for the donations on Barbara's stream. Thank you, everyone, for donating. No bonus there. Okay. All right. Give someone else a few minutes here to post a hunt.
Yeah, buddy.
If they post, great. How is this? Oh, reduce the. What's this one? How's that? Oh, that's better. Much better. Much better. It's like our great sword user here. Post something? Maybe? No? Alright. I will post Rathalos again. Where is Rathalos? There he is. I'm seeking parts. Oh, he did post. Okay. Alright. What are we doing here? Ooh, all large monsters. Alright. Daimyo, Harmatar, Nibble Snarf. Okay, this shouldn't be too bad. Normal hunt. So this hunt is going to be a sequence of each of these monsters. They'll spawn one at a time. It'll probably be in the arena, which I can find out. Check. Well, we're starting anyways, whatever. So, the game will also give you, on these types of hunts, you get resources that you can just grab from within the arena. You know, because it can go up to, I think there are some of these that might be as high as 5 monsters. 4 is a bit more common. This one isn't in the arena. Okay. Ooh, that was a nice knockdown. He was about to go and breathe a bunch of bubbles in my face, and that was not going to make me happy. Let's get some aerial damage. Alright, nice. Apply the oil while he's knocking it down. There we go. Alright. Palicos have little horns they can use, which is what our ally there is doing. And they can do all sorts of effects. They can heal, which is what he's using. They can also do things like charge your hunter arts, which are quite cool. And he's dead. That's 1 of 4. Here's 2 of 4. He's gonna knock us down. Yeah. Fine, I'll have to finish my carves later because he's being annoying. No. There we go. Last carve. Alright, I need to sharpen. Down to green. And restore some of my energy. So tasty. Ah. We really don't want to face him where we are because that's gonna... he's gonna keep knocking us back into the other zone. Ah. Let's get this going. Where's that shiny drop? There. Oh, nice. Getting a mount on one of these guys is challenging. Because their hitbox is rather small. Dude. So remember what I was saying before about you don't want to knock your allies up in the air if you are playing Greatsword with multiplayer? Yeah, that was that. There we go. Alright, so that's the Gendrome down. Now we gotta find the last two. Right. App. Oops. Need a cool drink. So some maps have environmental effects. This is one of them. Being a desert, it's very hot, and you need to bring a cool drink. The game doesn't actually honor real environmental effects, so if you play the desert map at night, I believe it's still hot and it's not cold, which is what it should be. Then, of course, there are also... Oops, wait, we need to get rid of this guy. Alright. Is he leaving? Okay, okay. Cool, we're good. So what I had there and was about to use was a dung bomb. You first start this game, you'll probably like end up collecting dung from enemies, or like you'll find dung piles and be like, really? I can pick up poo? What you use dung for in this game is to make dung bombs, and dung bombs, if you have multiple monsters in the same area, you can hit one of them with a dung bomb, and that will encourage, well, effectively force it to flee into another area. So you can turn a 2v1 to 4 versus into 1. They're pretty important for these types of fights where it's like you know that you're going to be facing multiple monsters and they're probably going to come up in the same area. So you need to be able to send them away. And I was going to use mine, but now I already got to it. Alright. Oh, that was unfortunate. getting me with that. Just shake loose of that. Oh man. Actually. Nice, there we go. That's the reason why I keep running the Ryu Shoryuken, because if you smack monsters in the face with it, especially while they are in the middle of an attack, then you can get a nice instant stun off on them, which is what I just did there. Okay, got rid of him. Ate a snap for it, but whatever. Okay. All right. There we go. Ah. All right, got the mud off his tail, but come on. All right, he's fleeing. Hopefully not to the same area that the Nibble Snarf fled to. I don't want to fight them at the same time. All right. We're gonna get this guy. We got this. Easy. Dang it! And the Nibble Snarf shows up. Are you kidding me? He flee? Did we get rid of him? Okay, I think we did. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay. You get out of here. Get out. Alright. We want him to leave. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Just mid lane again.
See, this is why we really wanted that guy to leave. They don't always immediately leave when you dung bomb them, so that's why this guy is still here. Okay, wait. Where'd he go? No. Let's stay focused. He didn't go in there. Oh, did he? He did. I've never seen a monster go in there. Alright. Yeah, the secret, Warren, is that I can't actually read Japanese, but I've played so much of this game that that I know what all of the icons are for the items and the general representations of them. And for the times where I do need to read text, I have Google Translate. And the Google Translate app for mobile phones is actually really, really good. You can download the language pack and then just do the overlay translate. And it's really, really handy. Just hold your phone up to the screen and you're like, great, now I can at least understand generally what this means. All right, need to make some more. Okay. God, stop running away! Stay in one freaking area. Okay. And now we're down to the last one. Alright. Nibble Snarf is the only one who remains. He's probably... Nibble Snarf only goes into the sandy zones, so he's probably back in one of these bigger zones. Okay, I'm lost my cool. Then let's sharpen. And let's reapply the oil. There we go. Now we're ready to fight. Okay, not here, he's back over there. Oh yeah, so submerging monsters. Nibble Snarf and a few other monsters will actually go beneath either the ground or they'll go into like the water. Yes, I did say that. And so, like with flying enemies, where you have sonic bombs to get them to land, submersive enemies, you can use sonic bombs, and sonic bombs will knock them out of their submerged state. And like you get a mini knockdown, so that was a sonic bomb right there that our ally tried to use, but he mistimed it. Nibble, this guy for some reason is hitting us. I'll avoid that. Okay. Yeah, I did not bring any sonic bombs, which was a mistake on my part. Should have. Alright. Fleeing. Allies keep knocking me into a corner. Alright. Alright, there it is. We should mark him because this guy has a tendency to flee to other areas. And he'll submerge before he does it. So then we have a really hard time following him to those areas. Yeah, he's about to leave. Alright, here we go. Ooh. Our ally dodged that with good timing. Good timing there. Alright. Here he is. This is where I wish I'd remembered sonic bombs. And I'm not Kenta per me, so I can't finish these guys in 2 minutes regardless. I'll post to chat some resources for Monster Hunter in general, for those of you interested in getting in with like World or getting this game. Either you can play Generations on 3DS, which is the predecessor to Double Cross. More or less the same game. There's more monsters in this one. There's also like additional weapon levels and some new weapons, but it's not like, you know, it's not a huge difference. But yeah, I can post some video resources. There are a couple of really, really good players. Apex Gaming, Kenta per me, Arex Gaming and Gaijin Hunter are sort of the quintessential. Oops, I am out of sharpness. They're all great resources on YouTube for tutorials on how to play different weapons, different time attack runs for certain monsters. Gaijin Hunter did an entire series with weapon tutorials for every single weapon in Monster Hunter Generations. So you can just basically be like, if you want to know what a weapon looks like when it's being played, or what you need to do with that weapon, go and watch those videos. They're really useful. That was no good. Yeah, I'll post those resources to the chat in just a few minutes, actually, probably after this hunt. I can grab them. Alright, he's going to Area 3. Each monster, when it gets wounded, has a resting area. For most of the wyverns, it's usually pretty obvious where that is, because there will be like a nest with some eggs. For these monsters, it's a little bit less clear. I've just hunted this guy enough times that I know where he goes. He fights in areas 2 and 7, and he rests in area 3. Alright. This will be the end of this lengthy hunt. Oh, he's capturing it. And strike a pose. To capture a monster, you have to have a trap and tranquilizer bombs. Or if you're a gunner, you can have tranquilizer shots. But you have to have the trap in order to capture. Which can make capture missions a little bit tricky. A lot of players will refuse to do them because if you screw it up and you use all your traps, or you don't have the right traps, then you just can't succeed in the mission and you have to give up. Alright, let me find those resources. Go over here, good old YouTubes. So, first and most recommended is Gaijin Hunter. Like I said, he has an entire series on all of the weapons for these. And he recommends a bunch of other channels, which are exactly the ones I was talking about. So, let's post Arex Gaming. That is Arex Gaming. He has a whole bunch of interviews on Monster Hunter World, and some stuff for Generations and Double Cross. This is Kanta Per Me. Kanta Per Me hosts time attacks for a bunch of different monsters in this game and the other games. That's actually like a thing with the community if you want to get into it. You can go and you learn exactly what the patterns of the monster are, as you do anyways, and you try and take them down as fast as you can. Some of his hunts are really, really impressive if you want to see what like high skill play at this game looks like. Watch Kanta Per Me. And the last one I wanted to recommend is Apex Gaming. Apex does similar things. He's been doing Monster Hunter Online recently, but he does time attacks, he does group streams. Yeah, all of those are very, very good resources for this game. This game, all the games in the series, like just everything in general. Okay. What are we hunting here? Mizutsune. So Mizutsune, Mizutsune is interesting. Mizutsune covers the ground in bubble foam, and he spits bubbles at you, which if you get hit by them, you get all soapy. And then if you're soapified and you get hit by one of his attacks, they deal extra damage, but it also impairs your movement. He's rather fun. He's a good monster. I like the way they've designed him. Okay, this person is Gunlance. This person is... Oh, longsword. Well, it's called longsword, but it's katana. We're gonna go? Go with us three. Come on. Come on. We can do it. Yes. We got this. We got this. Oh. All right. Let's start by marking. And now I actually want to flee because I want to do my buffs. Okay. We're going to buff up here. All right. Check. That hurt. Oh, nice lance. So the gun lance is particularly good at breaking parts, which is why he's doing all of those blast attacks. He is trying to break the head of Mizutsune. Gun lance is another one of those ones that, like greatsword, it can interfere with your allies a lot. So you want to make sure you know what you're doing before you pick up something like gun lance. So I was just trying to see if I had to guard that. What was that? Oh, shoot. Let's see if I can get a bit of a tail cut here. Each weapon tends to excel at doing damage to a different part of the monster, as I mentioned before. Sword and shield, or any of the fast-moving Blade Master weapons, of which sword and shield is one, are really good at cutting off parts of tail attacks in particular. Switch axe is another one that's really, really good at cutting parts, because you can cut either through repeated hits or just a ton of damage all at once, which is what like switch axe and great sword are really good at doing. So now I'm all soapy. God. Damn it. Ah, I dodged the wrong way. Alright, so since I just got KO'd, this is a good time to talk about failure criteria. You fail a hunt if you get carded, and you'll see why it's called carding, 3 times. So technically the fail criteria is actually when your reward goes to 0. Every time you get carded, your reward reduces by 1/3. So yeah, that didn't fail us the mission. Getting carded 2 more times will, and that's between all the players in the mission. So I need to be a little bit extra careful now. You also lose all of your food buffs, and any buffs that you had to your health or your stamina bar. So you see my health is now lower than it was before. My defense has also dropped. That's this way. It's this way. So I kind of need to play it a little bit safe now. Oh, I shouldn't have carded there. All I had to do was dodge to the right. All right. Oh, a Yangaruga has joined us. All right. Shit.
personal. Yeah, you guys are like, let's wait for the. Yeah, like.
Okay, where is he?
I hate that I play every link.
Right.
Why would I want to play? At least favorite character has What if? What if?
Okay. Wish I had brought my traps. All right. So I have, I mentioned how I have earplugs, so I don't have to, worry about monster roars. If you're really good, you can dodge a monster roar. You just have to time it right. I've done it a few times.
Any question? Anything that you're unsure?
Okay. All right. He's leaving. Let's get the carve on the tail.
So, because you're Morgana,
Yeah, so...
because you're Morgana, what about to hit?
Alright. I think we're pretty close here. You just need to be careful to not get carded.
So, generally Morgana... Oh, that's it.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay, okay. Really want to not.
The magic damage shield. So yes.
Okay. I'm very glad I didn't
It
just
doesn't work against. But
didn't just card there.
Other thing to know is that it's quick shots. So, first shot, second person top, and the third one you're like...
Oh, okay. Got the mount. Got the mount.
Are there any steps? That's because it's basically like you didn't notice much of the egg build. I think it's really that it builds not just because how long it is, but how long it takes. And so one of the things that's really hard is like, let's say that it's been aggroed on the tank for a while and the time comes out fast, it's on the aggro. Still have the build-up from it. So you gotta be real careful with
Alright.
tower aggro.
We got it.
Just go ham.
Probably
Close one there. 2 carts. 2 carts.
Yeah. No, Max.
Good hunt.
Sorry, get W. Max. leveled. Best
Oh, gotta strike a pose. Do a dance. It's dance time.
when you want it just to push. And stun them in.
Oh, that was a big one. It records the size of the monster that you hunted. If it's big enough, you get a silver crown. If it's one of the biggest, then you get a gold crown. That's just for funsies. Bigger monsters, I don't think they actually do any more damage. The damage is fixed based on the hunt that you're doing. So like a higher level hunt definitely will do more damage than a lower level hunt. But like there will be size variation within the hunt itself. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Barioth. Okay, Barioth. I think I have everything I need for Barioth.
Things that I spat out.
And while we're waiting, time to get in my donation. You two coming? All right. Oh, he switched off Gunlance. It's a great sword. I'm not a fan of Gunlance myself. Not that it's bad. It's actually really, really good. I've seen some videos of like entire teams of 4 Gunlancers, and they just destroy things. But yeah, like I just don't find it fun to play. My personal recommendations for this game, I like Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield is really good and really forgiving. You have a lot of defensive options because you can block with the shield and you don't have to sheath to use items. So it can be a really, really friendly weapon for beginners. I also like Insect Glaive. It's really strong. It's more high maintenance. It has its own buffs that it's able to pull from monsters, and you have to maintain those buffs during a hunt. But I really like it. It's the one that I started with in 4U. So I recommend that. Let's see. Oops. What else have I done? Switch Axe is a lot of fun. It's a weapon that's all about sort of building up charge and then releasing it all at once. So like you plan your attacks based on wanting to get your charges built and then get a knockdown and then be able to like unleash your full power on the monster's head or whatever weak point you're going for. Charge Blade is another weapon that is similar to that. It can be both a sword and shield, but then you can attach the shield to the sword to make it a giant axe. It's a ton of fun. Really, really powerful if you are skilled with it. Arguably, well, I mean, every weapon is strong in its own right. Charge Blade is one of the strongest in the game, though. And then if you're wanting to go ranged, if range is more your thing, you should start bow. Bow is easy. It doesn't have to deal with any limited ammunition or anything, which light bowgun and heavy bowgun do have to deal with. But it's good for getting into like the whole, starting out, getting a feel for like ranges and everything that you need to deal with. All right. So Barioth is a flightless wyvern. No, I'm wrong. That's Tigrex. Barioth he doesn't fly as much as like Rathalos or Raytheon though. And he breathes out cones of frost, so you have to worry about getting frozen in place. Cute note, if you're playing as Prowler, or if you have your Apella Codes with you in this fight, and they get frozen, they freeze into little cat snowmen. It's cute. So that was an example of my shield being very useful and saving my hide, actually. I just got comboed by this guy. And if I hadn't been sword and shield and been able to block, I probably would have been in a bit of trouble. That was dumb. I could have avoided that. Okay. I haven't fought Barioth a whole lot, so this is a little bit of seeing like the learning process for a new monster. You know, you have to figure out what their tells are for their different attacks, and then know like when it's safe to go in, and you're gonna screw it up a few times and take some hits. Go. But you fight them a few times, and then you have a better idea. Okay, so now I need to be careful because I don't want to do this ability when my allies are too close, because they can get knocked up in the air by it as well. So that shield bash attack I just did does stun damage. What you're seeing from the flash bombs is a mini stun effect. If you are a hammer user, or you have a weapon that deals stun damage, you want to go for the head, because you hit the monster's head, you hit it enough, and eventually you knock it to the ground and it has those little stars above it, even if you don't use a flash bomb. And that's the sort of that's like the entirety of playing hammer, is you hit the monster on the head and you KO them. I'm just trying to do sort of a mini version of that because I'm not actually a hammer user. It's really, really strong though. Hammer is a good weapon. Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful slash from our greatsword friend there. Really, really good attack. Okay, that actually worked out quite well. Since he knocked us both up in the air, we were able to get aerial attacks and we got a mount. There we go. Get this card. He knocks him down. There. This is double cross. Yep. We already carved that, so strike a pose. Oh yeah, starting a dance party here. All right, 20 minutes left in my slot. I think that's time enough for one more hunt. Ah, thank you, Duck Jr. Assuming that you're watching this stream and not Barbara's stream. Not sure where you are. I thanked him. Deck Jr. I'm on top of this. I'm watching this encoder like a hawk. Thanks. I've only had 517 dropped frames. Yeah. Okay, let's see what this last hunt is that got posted. Help him out with it. And, Gammoth. Alright, Gammoth. Gammoth is fun. As his name implies, he's a mammoth. Up next is going to be David Stern running a modded Super Metroid. So you should all tune in for that. Or sorry, Vorporial, for anyone who knows his handle rather than name. Alright, here we go. Closing out the stream with Gammoth. Well, That is unless if this hunt only takes like 5 minutes. Then we'll do another. Oh, you get off. And here's Gammoth. He has a lot of ground pound effects, so you kind of need to expect to be tumbled by him. Oh. Oh, thank you, Cool Quest. Your money will go to helping many children in need. Oh. Damn. Thought I was going to shake out of it in time. Oh, that was the wrong place to heal. Alright. Let's not get caught in his trunk again. There we go. Oh, I hate when they do that. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah. Keep those donations rolling in. The kids could really use it. Someone got a mount. Okay, need to watch out. Thanks, Biolithic. So I think you are probably watching Barbara's stream. Yes, all the time. All right. Oops. I just changed items accidentally. And indeed, the hunt was only 5 minutes, so we got time for one more. someone else doesn't post one, I might post Rathalos again. This game is all about the Wyverns, so close it out on a Wyvern. Alright. This will probably be another key for G3, I guess. Ah, Gravios. Okay, we'll help him out with Gravios. Calf normal. I'm gonna bring traps for this one. Wait. Gravios poison. No, Gravios doesn't poison. I think this is what I want. Gravios can put you to sleep. He has a little sleep gas attack. It can be annoying. Thank you, Anonymous. There's the sleep gas attack, so you have to watch out for that. Ah, shit. He got me. And I brought the wrong item. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're good. We're all good here now. Ah. Alright, someone got him. So Gravios is one of those monsters I was mentioning earlier. They have high body armor, so you need a really sharp weapon to hit them. You notice a lot of my attacks are bouncing off of him right there, and that is because my weapon isn't sharp enough to cut through his skin. It still does. Your attack still does the damage that it would do anyways, but you take twice. You take twice the amount of damage to your weapon's sharpness. Oh wow, we already cut his tail? Jeez. Really like to have, really like to go much further than where I am now. You need to have a much you need to have a much higher sharpness weapon than what I have, which basically just comes from upgrading the weapon. And like, there we go. At least I can help this way. Hey, thanks, Kevin. Oh, no, we stepped on. Come on, step. Thank you. Oh, still got crushed. Right. Okay, he's fleeing to another area, which is good, so we can carve the tail and then chase him down. Alright, we're gonna drop Shock Trap here. We're gonna sharpen first. There we go. Alrighty. This will be the end of him. Now that he's been wounded enough, you see that his belly is sort of exposed, and that makes it easier. That makes it easier to damage him. All right. There. Time to my dodge. I'm gonna get blown up. Oh, there it is. Oof. Twice. I am. Alright, I'm going to try and finish this guy off in the couple of minutes that we have left. Should be doable. Oh. And that's it, folks. I hope you all have enjoyed this introduction to Monster Hunter. Hope I've convinced some of you to try the game, or at least keep an eye out for Monster Hunter World coming in January. And with that, we'll hand it off for some Super Metroid.